This was the first time in months that the British Prime Minister has travelled personally to Brussels, and the importance of the dinner with the European Commission President cannot be exaggerated. After deadlock in the technical negotiations, the hopes of salvaging $1 trillion a year trading relationship now rested on political compromise. Firstly, over the etiquette of face masks.
Do you take our mask off, Ursula?
If we keep distance, then...
Outside the Commission building, the Union flag was hoisted for the first time since January. But when Boris Johnson's motorcade departed 3 hours later, the assessment from the UK side was downbeat. Significant obstacles and very large gaps remain, said a spokesman. Unclear whether these can be bridged. Ursula von der Leyen's statement described a lively and interesting discussion, but also admitted a clear understanding that the positions remain very far apart. The negotiating teams have been asked to reconvene in one last effort to find common ground, but on Sunday a firm final decision will be made.
To answer questions from Sir Edward.
Both sides have political red lines and compromise is difficult. Before travelling to Brussels, Boris Johnson had faced a restless session of Parliament.
What I can say is that this country will be ready for whether we have a Canadian or an Australian solution, and there will be jobs created in this country throughout the whole of the UK, not just in spite of Brexit, but because of Brexit.
And Ursula von der Leyen is also under intense pressure to protect the integrity of the EU's single market.
We need a level playing field, and not just for today, but for tomorrow and the next day. We need agreements on how each side can react when the other side changes its legal parameters. Otherwise, it will result in unfair competition, and we won't let this happen to our businesses.
But future-proofing a level playing field between the two is challenging. The EU is adamant that Britain can't continue to have free access to the single market if it also wants to diverge from EU standards and rules. But Britain is equally insistent that the EU's attempt to lock the UK to European rules is an unacceptable infringement of sovereignty. Analysts see the need for compromise on both sides.
It will have to understand that a third country that does not have 100% of the market access can also not take over a lot of the EU's rules, that it needs to have a lot of regulatory freedom.
It's very much on the edge right now, and it all depends on Boris Johnson, whether he's willing to make the compromises that are required.
European leaders and heads of state arrive here in Brussels later on Thursday for the final European Council summit of the year. No clearer as to what the trading arrangement with the UK will be just 3 weeks from now. And even if a deal can somehow miraculously be struck before January the 1st, ratification of it is highly unlikely in that kind of timescale. It's a messy end to a very messy year. Paul Brennan, Al Jazeera, Brussels.